the issue with generally like Western diets today is that there's such a prevalence of omega-6 fatty acids, meaning like from vegetable oils, from oxidized fats that are going to create inflammation in the body that are not, we're not having as much of like seafood, which have the healthy, or like avocado. There are saturated fats that are also healthier, like avocado, coconut. And so it's about that balance. It's just that from like a lot of packaged foods, they use their companies like use these oils that have are just higher in omega-6s, and then also from conventional meat, it depends like how the animal is fed and raised can kind of determine the omega-6 content. And so yeah, things are always like it's like there's not one food group that to like demonize, but it's about like understanding, how it actually works, and that we do need balance. And that is one of like the more common imbalances in a lot of Western diets, as opposed to like
Hmm.
Mediterranean diet, like Japanese, like Asian cultures with more fish, Nordic countries with more oily fish.
Yeah.
Polish in my hand, I'm ready to create each nail a masterpiece. I can hardly wait. Soft pastels or vibrant hues, each tells a tale in their artistry of nails. Nothing ever fails. With each swirl and twirl, let the magic begin in this kingdom of gloss. There's no end to the wind. Gloss on my fingertips, watch them shine bright. Painted like a canvas, colors taking flight. Feeling fierce and fabulous, I'm ready to ignite. Slaying the nail game every single night. Nails and beauty talk with Asia the bird. Nails and beauty talk with Asia the bird.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk. I am your host, Asia the Bird. Today, we have a very special guest with us today. She is a health coach. Please welcome Veronica Lee. Hello, Veronica, and welcome.
Hey Asia, thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. You're most welcome. So, I want to go ahead and really get started by asking, where are you from, and tell us about your upbringing a little bit.
Sure. I grew up in Southern California and I have
Mhm.
returned. So I'm in San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
I went to school in Chicago and then I lived in San Francisco for several years, and
mhm.
just grateful to be back in California.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. So, tell us about like your school experience growing up. What was that like in terms of like grade school, college, things like that?
Yeah. I had a like a pretty, I think, yeah, pretty normal childhood, but I was
Hmm.
really into school. I was really into sports. I had a bunch of allergies actually that I just kind of
Hmm.
accepted as the way it was, and like stomach upset, and yeah, I then realized that maybe much like years later I didn't realize that that didn't have to be the case. Uh,
Hmm.
but yes, I did well in school. I kind of went to college and studied liberal arts, psychology, environmental policy, business.
Hmm.
Actually worked as a, yeah, did a bunch of things before I got here.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's really, really cool. So I want to go ahead and talk about as far as how you got into health coaching. So you mentioned in an IG post about your health story and how you became a health coach. So can you tell us more about that and what drew you as far as like health and wellness? Like what was like your health story?
Yeah. I never knew that I would become a health coach. I'll say that. So, like, I now looking back, thinking about, my allergies, I had really painful cycles. But what started it all was I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's in 2017.
Wow.
And that is like a thyroid autoimmune diagnosis. And
Mhm.
the doctor that I saw at the time like suggested that I eat gluten free, and that did help, with that particular marker for a while. But I was horrified to actually see, two other diagnoses by
Right. Hmm.
2019 ish of
Hmm.
Sjogren's, PCOS, and that's when it was really a wake up call, because I thought I had been eating like well enough, like I ate mostly organic food, was gluten free, But clearly, there are some other things going on that enabled me to just still develop other health symptoms. And so,
Hmm.
with the events of 2020 and then getting that last diagnosis, like it really was a wake up call for me to be like, let me figure out how to take care of my health better. Because I
Right.
was, yeah,
Hmm.
pretty, I mean, yeah, I'm not that far into life. Like, I was like, why do I have three diagnoses? There must be something
Wow.
else going on. And so
Hmm.
I came across various natural health doctors and practitioners in 2020 and
Hmm.
came across the integrative health practitioner certification and really just started it to figure out whether I could improve my own symptoms. But I had such a quick
Hmm.
and like remarkable transformation
Right.
that it really inspired me to continue learning and to help other people. So
Yeah, absolutely, most definitely. And I want to get into as far as just gut health because I think it's more of a topic now, and I think that that's very very important. Even though I'm also learning that as well in terms of gut health and how important that is, especially that gut health is in connection with the brain, so they have like a relationship type of thing, type of vibe. So in your perspective, how vital is gut health?
foundational, yeah, and even how I it's the interface between our bodies and the external environment. And
Right.
so that's where our immune system lives, and it is integrated with the nervous system.
Right.
Through, you probably have heard of like the vagus nerve, but what goes
Hmm.
on, either direction, like if we have stress in the gut, it's going to affect our nervous system. If we have stress like mental, emotional, or other from the nervous system, it's going to affect our digestion. And
Yeah.
so there's this thing called there's a little bit nerdy, but like neuroendoimmunological loop. And that just
Right.
means our nervous system is connected to our hormones, endocrine, which affects our immune.
Right.
And it's just, yeah, all integrated. And so I find gut
Hmm.
health to be just like a pretty accessible, like a clear way for us to know how we can have control over our health. And that's a pretty straightforward thing to look into. And it also, like everything else, it's like a very clear way to see how habits, to change habits can affect bigger things. Does
Yeah,
that make sense?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's definitely like how I said, there's definitely a connection between like the brain and the gut, like how you said the loop and things like that. I think people don't really think too much about some people don't consider like, how those things are intertwined, especially how it involves our organs and things like that. And, it's very, very interesting how, the more we improve our gut health, in different ways, and especially, and it comes down to diet, you know what I mean? And things like that, especially adding protein and things like that. We'll get to that a little later. But I want to get into as far as just like with hydration, because I think hydration is very important. So, a lot of people don't know the full aspects of hydration or how to hydrate their cells properly. And I want you to talk about hydration and the importance of including electrolytes.
Sure thing. I also thought of another thing that I thought would be helpful for your previous question. Do you mind if I loop back to that really briefly?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Um, with gut health, like people may have heard, like we are what we eat. And more specifically, it's
Mhm.
like, and this relates to hydration, but like everything that we're consuming, and it actually goes beyond food, like every input to us gives our body information that
Yeah.
either is going to be kind of like vitality promoting or draining. And so,
Hmm.
um, yeah, I just wanted to like give a little bit more detail about like the importance of our nutrition, but also like everything that is an input to us
Right.
nourishes us. And so with
Absolutely.
hydration, um, most people have heard that we're primarily water. And
Yeah.
the importance of that is that we are electrical beings.
Hmm.
And if you hear think of the word electrolyte and think of electricity, minerals are what is needed to structure the water of our bodies into H3O2 instead of H2O, which just means that it conducts electricity better. It just means that this is actually how our all of the signals are going through. And so
Right.
when it comes to hydration, like it's not just a matter of the like pure amount of plain water, but we need the minerals to really provide that energy and the structure for how water operates in our body. And so electrolytes just refers to calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium, the
Hmm.
most abundant. minerals in the body. And so an easy way to do that is to add like some a slice of lemon or lime and then some like good quality sea salt to your water, and that can be kind of like a natural Gatorade that is going to be more hydrating than just like reverse osmosis treated purified water that a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
bottled water is.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, not just plain water. And that's what I've started doing recently, like the past couple of weeks, is adding like Himalayan sea salt to my water and things like that in terms of like, to get the proper hydration, either that or do like some coconut water and things of that nature. And, and I like how you mentioned the H3O too, and especially you get it from definitely from fruit, citrus fruits, you get it from melons, like, either cucumber or watermelon, honeydew, cantaloupe, things like that. I think that's very, very important, because, this is what I've learned recently, like I said, as well, in terms of hydration. It's not just drinking water, it's also you're trying to hydrate your cells, so that I find it to be very interesting. But also, too, I want to talk about in terms of how the gut can be imbalanced. So, I want to get into like what are some ways that the gut can be imbalanced, and what is the sedentary indoor lifestyle. If you could talk about that also. All
Mm.
right.
So the biggest imbalancer of like gut health is really chronic stress. And that sounds, amorphous, but what that means is stress can be both mental, emotional, but also physical.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to physical causes like contributors, that could be birth control, alcohol, excessive processed food, medications, antibiotics,
Mm-hmm.
or some, and then environmental toxins as well and pesticides.
Yeah.
More specifically, like with antibiotics, what a lot of people don't know is that just because something is antibacterial doesn't mean it's antifungal. And
Yeah.
so, if it can actually wipe out and create placeholders for fungal species to overgrow, causing, again, like gut issues. And then, when it comes to uh, mental emotional stress, that alone can affect our organs. So like the large intestine and the small intestine, there's a connection between them that's usually a valve that is usually very tight. But with stress, it can kind of relax that and
Mm-hmm.
allow bacteria to get into the small intestine, more bacteria to get into the small intestine and cause digestive issues. Um, and then with the sedentary indoor lifestyle, uh, there are a couple things, yeah, that could like related to that. So like movement does help us in many ways. It helps us regulate not only metabolism but also like absorb nutrients.
Mm-hmm.
But the other, yeah, maybe less talked about component is our connection to the out like to the sun outside, because we get sunlight as a nutrient as well, and
Right.
we get a lot of information that we need from different frequencies throughout the day, uh, that orchestrate our hormones and our energy production.
Mm-hmm.
And so that has ramifications for gut health as well, and can have like specific influences on the diversity of our microbiome just from natural sunlight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Absolutely. I want to get into food and how food could be medicine for overall health. So, talk about the importance of healthy fats, and how it impacts overall health and nutrition.
Yeah, with that, that used to be demonized, and same with salt. But we really, what's important with fat is that we have a balance of like inflammatory and anti inflammatory fats, meaning like omega 3s and omega 6s. It's just the issue with generally like Western diets today is that there's such a prevalence of omega 6 fatty acids, meaning like from vegetable oils, from oxidized fats that are going to create inflammation in the body that are not, we're not having as much of like seafood, which have the healthy, or like avocado. There are saturated fats that are also healthier, like avocado, coconut. And so it's about that balance. It's just that from like a lot of packaged foods, they use their companies like use these oils that have are just higher in omega sixes, and then also from conventional meat, it depends like how the animal is fed and raised can kind of determine the omega 6 content. And so yeah, things are always like it's like there's not one food group that to like demonize, but it's about like understanding how it actually works, and that we do need balance. and that is one of like the more common imbalances in a lot of Western diets, as opposed to like
Hmm.
Mediterranean diet, like Japanese, like Asian cultures with more fish, Nordic countries with more oily fish.
Yeah, absolutely. So for someone who is struggling with gut health, what are some tests you would recommend for people that should, what tests people should take as far as figuring out what's going on with their gut flora or microbiome?
Yeah, so there are functional medicine lab tests that allow people to really get more detail about what's going on internally, because so many people go to like their GI doctor, they get colonoscopy, endoscopy, like all these scans, but it's different. It can go deeper than blood work, and so some of the three most relevant tests for gut health are the organic acids urine test.
Hmm.
There is a stool test, depending on like whether what people have going on, that can give more detail about the balance of different bacteria and potentially parasites, which is another like less known about factor.
Right.
Like it's not just for like developing countries. It's an exposure that everyone has, either from water, from salad bars, from like you can even be walking barefoot. It's not to be fearful, but it's just to actually be aware of like
Yeah.
all of the things,
Hmm.
that there are reasons. If people are having symptoms, there's always a reason. It's just a matter of going deep enough. And so
Hmm.
the third test that would be nice to have is a food sensitivity test. Not all of them are created equal, but what this can allow us to see are really like the delayed immune reactions to food, and so not necessarily gonna like be like a bloating or like a allergy that people would notice immediately, but it happens anywhere from a day to 3 days later, and so it can be very helpful to do this test, because by the time that 3 days have passed, you might have potentially had like 9 meals, and so it's hard to identify.
Right.
And this just helps us see like if there are a lot of food sensitivities, it can be an indication of like more of a leaky gut situation, and that's when we would go deeper with other tests to look at what are the toxins and nutrient imbalances contributing to that.
Mm.
That was yeah. Do you have any questions about that?
Oh, no, no, no. I think it's I started, looking into, like different aspects of like, gut health as far as like testing. I know people do like like how you said, the stool test and things like that. And I like how you
Mm-hmm.
broke it down as far as like, just what that is, because it may sound kind of weird, but it's like, I heard like, in terms of stool tests, like they test like different types of bacteria and especially like in the gut and stuff like that. So, like what are like some other tests that people could take as far as like just for gut health possibly?
Yeah. So those three are most like directly related, but I do highly recommend also, just to get a comprehensive baseline, to get a full picture of what's going on for somebody, is to look at a hair tissue mineral analysis. That is a hair sample. All of these can be done at home, by the way, but
Mm,
and mailed back to specific labs. But the hair test tells us about our nutrients, like specifically those electrolytes and the minerals. It also looks at heavy metal toxicities, and we can infer a lot about stress patterns and hormone function just from that test alone.
mm-hmm,
There's another one, like a thyroid adrenal hormone test, that sounds a little bit more straightforward, probably more a little bit more familiar. People have done a lot of like medical lab work where we're looking deeper at thyroid, adrenals, which have to do with stress, all the factors that affect basically mood, metabolism,
mm-hmm.
immune. And then the last test is an inflammation test, which is looking at we were talking about the healthy fats. It looks at the balance of omega 3s and omega 6s.
Mm. Yeah, it's very, very interesting. I want to get into as far as just looking back at your health journey. What were some of the things that you've learned in the journey of like, your health journey, wellness, and things of that nature?
That's that's a good question. uh, I think probably like the biggest thing that I learned is how resilient the body is, like how resilient we are, and
Yeah.
that the body doesn't make mistakes. And although, even though people can be very uncomfortable, if we look at things from a perspective of like this is a healing response, then we can go a long way. And it's what I learned is that it's more than what we're of course like diet and nutrition matter, but we also have to address lifestyle,
Right.
mindset, stress, sleep, because there's like a saying like you can't out exercise a bad diet, you can't out supplement a bad diet, like you can't out supplement like stress, and so it's really knowing that we don't have to do any one thing perfectly, but we do have to take into consideration like what is life like for each person
Right.
because
Yeah.
yeah, that's how we can get well long term and actually have a transformation and not just do like these diets and then go back and then like have this roller coaster situation. And yeah, it's about the habits, and
Yeah.
don't have to get
Absolutely.
everything figured out. It's just about the little things that become sustainable long term.
Yeah, absolutely, most definitely. Now, where do you see yourself in your health coaching career in the next 10 years from now?
mm, just helping more people and deepening my knowledge. I love learning about this stuff, and yeah, I think getting really deep into how the mind affects health specifically is where I am going to be focusing on next to be able to support people more deeply. But I just look forward to just continuing to work with people. I really like it's really meaningful to me having overcome thing like gone through my own health journey. It's like it's never ending, and so I just yeah enjoy getting to work with people around the world. uh,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
that they can like be empowered to take control of their health and not just wait for someone outside of them to fix anything. It's all within us. Is we just need to be pointed in the right direction sometimes and just be aware of like more of these alternative things to look into.
Yeah, absolutely, most definitely. Now, last but not least, where can people find you on social media? And also, how can people support you and get access to health and wellness resources?
Yeah, on Instagram, I'm at Veronica Lee Wellness, and yeah, my website is also veronicaleewellness.com. Right now, I have like a resource for just a free training on how to solve your mysterious gut issues. So yeah,
hmm
that's linked in on my Instagram.
hmm Yeah, it's really, really cool. Well, thank you so much, Veronica, for jumping on. I appreciate this conversation. I wish you the best of luck in, the health, coaching journey and things like that, helping other people. Like I said there again, this is a very important topic for a lot of people. People are trying to get into health and wellness, trying to better their health and things of that nature. So I really appreciate you being on the show. And yeah, just thank you so much.
Thank you too. Thank you for the questions and really nice to connect with you.
Yes, absolutely. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Hello, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on my social media platforms and be on the lookout for more interviews to come very soon. Take care, stay healthy, and stay beautiful. Bye bye.